This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.
Overturn your wrongful deeds, so once again, you've been charged.
Talk Radio 790 KABC. I'm Karl Gerber, a real workplace lawyer. I'm hoping for a smoking joke. Poke folks in the ribs, not the bibs? Smoking a fatty was last hip in 1971. Okay, maybe 1982. Not making fun of a fatty is hip. The Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, where it's hip to be socially conscious. And I'm Karl Gerber. We've heard about Queens carpets, ever-growing berber carpets for townhomes and the head. Tonight, from Queens, New York, we have a very important guest. The Chief Executive Officer and President of Queens Carpets. May we now have a round of applause for Mr. Alfombra.
It's actually pronounced matting.
How does Alfombra go from Alfombra to matting?
Don't take it wrong. I am only giving you the proper pronunciation of the enunciation.
You're saying that if I drag Alfombra long enough, it becomes matting?
Not at all.
The name on your business card says Alfombra, Myron Alfombra.
Not my name.
Quite frankly, my interest in names is only periphery.
Whatever you like.
My matters, not mattings of interest, are 1. How can the same material be used both for a toupee and floor covering? 2, Mr. Alfombra, these berber fibers continuously growing. Does your Tampume product keep your fibers at the right height? In other words, if you tampumed too much one day, wouldn't that be noticeable on the berber toupee? 3, why are you marketing Tampume as an abortion device? I find that very peculiar, in poor taste, and outright disgusting. 4, Mr. Alfombra, just how many lawsuits have been brought against your company for selling toupees that have the same texture as residential floor covering?
I didn't get any of that. Can you repeat it?
That's your problem. You're going to answer these questions anyway.
How am I supposed to answer the questions if I didn't hear any of them?
I'm not buying you heard none of my 4 serious questions. I rather suspect you are refusing to cooperate.
Can you be certain I know the answers to your questions?
I hope you know the answers to the questions. You're the top dog at Queens Carpets.
Are you really Karl Gerber, workplace lawyer?
Well, if you don't believe I'm Karl Gerber, workplace lawyer, you can call 877-525-0700 during the week to talk to me and find out if I'm a real workplace lawyer. That's 877-525-0700 for representation on an employee lawsuit. 877-525-0700 if you were fired from your job for complaining you were being forced to sell an unhealthy or unsafe product to people.
Putting a piece of berber on top of your head isn't unsafe. Maybe horrendously hot during the summer. And sticky if you live on the East Coast or certain rooms in Rhemus Helms' ostrich ranch.
Go chew on a piece of ostrich bubble gum.
As a matter of fact, I fancy a stick right about now. You don't happen to have any ostrich gum, do you?
I don't condone gum chewing on live air. Listen here, Mr. Alfombra, pronounced matting. We need a lot more details on Queens Carpets, including whether Dumas ever worked there.
Like most employers, I am at liberty to confirm Dumas was employed as a carpet for townhomes / toupee salesman from January of 2001 to November of 2008, at which time he passed the California bar and moved to sunny Southern California.
Well, many companies are only able to give employee references based on name, rank, and serial number, not even salary anymore. Are you telling me Queen's Carpet adheres to that particular reference policy?
How am I supposed to know?
You are the chief executive officer and president of Queen's Carpets, are you not?
I am not.
Then who are thou? And how did you get past the security at this radio station?
I am an imposter.
What the fentanyl? Why would an imposter of Myron Alfombra, pronounced Matting, show up for the appearance on this show of Myron Alfombra, pronounced Myron Alfombra?
Are you crazy? Do you think Myron Matting, that's M-N apostrophe M, Eminem, would show his berber locks in public?
That's an admission. Berber toupees are not for the headed and belong on the ground.
An admission, a discovery device, a means of getting one side of the lawsuit to admit a fact in controversy. A discovery question more likely to lead to objections than the truth. An admission of berber toupee would not be worn at a radio station, so all listeners can see it. What do you think?
Let's just call Myron Alfombra, pronounced Matting, right now. He's got a 718 number. It's right here in my iPhone. Dumas gave me his cell number.
Dumas? What does he know? Mr. Matting changes his cell phone number every hour.
Is that due to unhappy customers?
And employees.
What's the real reason Mr. Alfombra, pronounced Matting, is not here?
He lost his shirt.
He lost his shirt. Oh, I get it. The lawsuits for his crappy products has piled up, and too many of his employees sued for some underhanded, ever-growing labor problem.
No, he lost his shirt in a high-stakes dreidel game.
I've heard about those games. A very religious man I know, he lost his prayer shawl that was handed down by his grandfather.
I was under the impression you inherited your grandfather's prayer shawl.
Yeah, I did, but remember, I don't gamble.
You don't even bet on the elevators?
That game goes all the way back to when I worked for a lawyer in Encino when I was going to college. I never got into betting on which high-rise elevator would come first, although in the old days it was quite easy to predict.
Oh, boy. You're missing out. The elevator racket is where it's at. That's why they gave gods, they have gods not letting people into all those fancy downtown high-rises. There'd be too many bookies and betting men lining up.
Well, there are other reasons why they have tight security, say at the Twin Towers building in Century City, and it isn't just the name of the building there on Century Park East.
No, duh. The most important database in the world is being managed up there.
I'm also thinking the general inability to get in and out of Century City and the extremely long walks to one's car are also security measures for that particular building where the database identifying information on all sanitary napkins is managed.
You know, I shouldn't even say it, but imagine an imposter getting a hold of that data.
I don't even want to think about the database being hacked. That could be the difference in world peace and the world as we know it.
Imagine me impostering chapstick.
Since you aren't Mr. Alfombra, pronounced Matting, can we give the listeners a name, a means of identifying you?
Due to my business, I'd prefer we use a sound instead of a name.
We're going to identify you by a sound and not a name?
Sure.
All right, go ahead and give us your sound.
Oh!
Is this your identifying trademark, you howl?
Mr. Gerber, I am an imposter. I don't stick to anyone's stance.
Can you do downward facing dog?
You kidding? That's one of the easiest yoga poses.
Yeah, now that I realize you howl, I can't but wonder if you've ever been a cosplay coyote, and one in particular who dynamited the Lilliputian warehouse at Nouvelle Novelty Toys.
I am under orders not to, discuss my role at... What I can say is I've done it.
Done what? Is that a Rhemus Helms type of reference, or have you gone and bought a Queen's Rug skull cap for your closest friend?
I impostered a yoga instructor.
You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. Stay tuned to figure out what this imposter is in here for.
I know I'm an imposter. I know.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a consistent force in fighting for the rights of California employees. They've represented thousands of employees in cases in which they've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, discriminated against at work, or owed wages individually or as a group such as a class action. The Employment Lawyers Group has maintained a high win rate and a serious record before the California courts. Please call 877-525-0700 for an experienced work lawyer. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, research the firm at worklawyerca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. If you hire the Employment Lawyers Group, your legal problem becomes theirs to solve.
Wendy's 4 for $4 is the deal you can count on every day. No catch, no strings attached, just 4 items for $4. Hence the name, 4 for $4. Choose one of 8 great options like the double stack, spicy chicken wrap, or junior bacon cheeseburger. And you get 4 nuggets, fries, and a drink. A full meal for just $4, only at Wendy's, baby. That's added value multiplied by tons of goodness. Cause the 4 for $4 is what you need when you need it. So turn that car around and hit your nearest Wendy's today.
Participating Wendy's for a limited time. Meal includes 4-piece chicken nuggets, small fries, and small drink. Offer not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
Indeed knows finding the right hire takes time away from your business.
Hiring a qualified data engineer felt like a second job.
More job seekers use Indeed than any other site, so there's no better place to find someone with the skills you're looking for.
I needed someone with a master's in computer science and database experience.
Plus, Indeed screener questions help you find your shortlist fast.
Now I'm back to having just one job.
See why more than 3 million companies worldwide use Indeed to hire. Post your job at Indeed.com/hire. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Source.com score total visits.
I used to have more hair. I used to have more color. And I used to have cancer. I beat it. I did. Not alone. I used to have no idea what the American Cancer Society did. Research, yeah, but also free rides to chemo and free lodging near hospitals. I used to maybe give a little, then I got so much back. I used to have cancer.
Please give at cancer.org.
When I have a cold sore, I want something that works.
Herpes L penetrates deep to treat your cold sore, and it's enriched with lysine, vitamins, and lemon balm for soothing relief.
But even when I don't have a cold sore, I still want something that protects against a flare-up.
Herpes L protects against certain triggers caused by the sun and cold, including flare-ups from sun damage with its added SPF 30 protection. So it treats and protects.
Works for me.
And me too.
Herpes L works when you have a cold sore, works when you don't. Use as directed.
You can fire me for cause or for no reason.
Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and I'm Karl Gerber. We've got a guest in here. This is not Dumas. It's not even the guy who plays Dumas. I thought I was getting Myron Alfombra, the guy who makes those ever-growing toupees out of berber that are also carpets for the floor. You know something? Cal is short for the great Kowalski, or even Kowalski. Dude, like, what purpose did impostering a yoga instructor serve? You were telling us that before we broke.
It was a sting operation. I ran it with Fred Lines of the LAUSD.
The truant officer who was on this show?
Yeah. He'd been looking for crackdowns after the Lima brothers grew up and stopped giving him tips. Thanks to my work, we were able to nab a sex offender.
Good. Can we leave it at that? Besides, Fred Lyons went to another district years ago.
No way, man. Look, I'm going to tell you a story. Fred's with the Santa Clarita School District by now. So there's a guy with Google glasses filming the backsides of women at various, hot yoga studios.
Does this involve Lisa Glickman and her lemon Lulu sweatpants?
Not really. She was visiting somebody that day and was in the class, but I don't think the pervert filmed her butt. Maybe he did down in L.A.
Operation Yoga isn't really interesting me.
Imagine sweltering temperatures of 101 degrees and a bunch of sweaty women in yoga pants and tank tops.
The olfactory sensation is greater to me than the visuals in this scenario.
Imagine glasses falling off people's faces due to all the sweat. Google glasses included.
Let me guess. The only nutjob wearing glasses in that heat while doing whatever they do in yoga was the sex offender, and you caught him by the mere presence of his Google glasses.
I want you to understand, an imposter can do good work. I helped Fred Lyons nab a pervert who took no qualms about what he filmed. Even seniors in Fred's district, not senior citizens. Well, those two.
I never knew being an imposter could be such noble work. Is there a society for professional imposters? If so, that might qualify them as expert witnesses. Are you really a full-time imposter?
Are you really Captain Lemur Eyes, who was really the card shark, who was really Fast Eddie? Wait a minute, if you were the card shark, sure, you gambled.
Not to change the subject or anything, at least about my aliases in the modem world in the 80s, but just out of interest, how much is a professional imposter played? That's actually one class of employee I've never represented. I didn't even know it was a profession.
I like to keep things simple. I go with the SAG day rate, but once in a while, or once or twice, I went by a Teamsters rate because when I impersonated a trucker down at Ports a Call, the other time was the big league, the major leagues.
Ports a Call is a boarded-up tourist village. It isn't the name of the port in Long Beach or San Pedro.
What do I know? I'm just an imposter.
Well, given the fact that you revealed your true identity so early on in the show, I'm not too sure what will be left to talk about the rest of the hour and 8 days and 2 lonely nights.
I can think of something. Call 1-877-525-0700 for employee representation by Karl Gerber's firm. 1-877-525-0700 for a real wage dispute lawyer. 877-525-0700 if your employer defrauded you.
Oh, thanks for the plug. Sorry, bad term if we're talking about the hair business.
In my years as an employee lawyer, the biggest trend I've noticed is binding arbitration. Employees unknowingly waive their rights to a jury trial.
You're not an employee lawyer. You're sounding like me.
You know what bugs me? Around this time of year, I get these calls from company lawyers telling me their clients' legal budgets have money left over, and they want to offer money to settle. They preface these calls with, "It isn't a lot of money." What do they think I am, Dumas? I'm going to jump up at some scrap year-end offering?
Wait, I said that yesterday.
Like I said last week, just because an employee wants to settle their lawsuit to buy Christmas presents, that doesn't mean they'll get their settlement funds before Christmas. Most settlements are paid a minimum of 30 days after all parties sign the settlement agreement.
And the employee provides a W-9 and W-4 because the employer wants to characterize the settlement as part wages and part something else.
Hey, why'd you interrupt me? I was going to say that.
You're taking all of my lines.
They're my lines. I'm Karl Gerber, workplace lawyer.
Whoa. Impersonating a licensed lawyer is a crime.
The difference between me and a fake lawyer is I've been actually representing employees for 25 years.
Excuse me? But you're an imposter?
I am Karl Gerber, workplace lawyer. This is my show.
I'm Karl Gerber?
What's worse for employees settling this time of year is the settlement check might not get to them this year, and then the employer sends them a W-2 or W-4 claiming they paid them this year.
Well, that's right. Or they get a check on December 31st and have zero time for tax planning.
My firm, the Employment Lawyers Group, talks to the client about what is best for the client tax-wise.
Now, here's the problem. If you're impersonating me, who's going to pay you for the impersonation?
Who's going to pay me? I'm not getting paid? What's the point of impostoring you?
The point of impostoring me is only trouble.
Rhemus Helms got $200.1 million impersonating you. Not impostoring you, though.
No, he didn't impersonate me. There's no resemblance.
Really?
Rhemus Helms have unnatural qualities. I don't know how I'd know that.
Really?
I have had people I never represented claim I was their attorney, and then I got a call from an employment defense lawyer, and they asked if I represented the client.
How do you know those people weren't me?
This is the first time we've met.
Give that a long, hard thought.
Do you actually know anything about Queen's rugs? Can we discuss their issues?
Sure.
All right, how many employees do they have?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Oh, here's the question of the hour. What kind of a man would ever buy an ever-growing berber toupee?
I don't know. Desperate?
Yeah. What makes the berbers grow? I mean, what kind of nutrients?
Come on. Even if I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't say it on the radio. That would be a trade secret of Queen's rugs.
Yeah, you're starting to sound like the typical guest on talk radio. Not this station, of course. You won't tell us the interesting stuff, and you don't know much about anything either.
Hey, don't insult talk radio. I've appeared on quite a few talk radio shows. Not this station, of course.
Why?
I am an imposter.
There are all sorts of jobs most people never imagined existed. Are there ever professional imposters out there?
Of course. Why do you think there are so many Elvis sightings in basements?
Well, may I ask, what is the difference between an imposter and an impersonator?
An imposter. An imposter is much more serious. Impersonators like female impersonators, Rhemus Helms impersonators. But there is a very famous Rhemus Helms impersonator, and he doesn't merely work for union scale wages. No, sir.
Well, are you at liberty to discuss some of your imposter gigs? That would probably have people listening for a Nielsen 15.
I am so good. If I said which cases I worked, it wouldn't matter because they couldn't track me down based upon my voice or appearance tonight.
Well, that raises an important question. Since you aren't Myron Alfombra, pronounced matting, do you actually resemble Myron Alfombra, pronounced matting? I'd kind of like to know.
Of course not. That's why Alfombra is pronounced matting.
And you aren't wearing an ever-growing berber toupee?
Or am I?
I think we're going to find out if he is wearing that in a couple minutes. But from what we've heard on this show about those berber toupees on different episodes you can listen to on workplacelawyer.org or Karl Gerber KABC or YouTube, Karl Gerber, I don't think it would look very good, and I don't know how you'd trim it or anything like that. It's kind of weird. If you want to talk to a real workplace lawyer, which is me, and I am licensed in California, and when I'm not doing this, I am representing employees, please call 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. You're listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Oh, and I'm laughing, but I really know, no, they know.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a results-oriented law firm whose goal is to get the client what they deserve. They've represented thousands of California employees who've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or were owed wages on an individualized or group basis, such as a class action. They have a high rate of success. There are few situations involving employment law that they have not confronted. At the forefront of employee rights, they're often the first employee law firm to confront a new legal issue. For an experienced employment lawyer, call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, read more about the firm at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Make your work problem theirs to solve.
Talk Radio 790, KABC News Update, I'm Steve Cumming. A massive winter storm packing ice, snow, and freezing rain has left 4 people dead and thousands without power in the southeast. The storm has brought up to 18 inches of snow in certain hard-hit areas in North Carolina and Virginia. Tennessee and South Carolina are also seeing above 10 inches of snow. So far, over 2,100 flights remain canceled and over 13,000 are delayed. President Trump says he's working hard to find the new chief of staff to replace outgoing chief of staff John Kelly. Trump also slammed the media for reporting that Nick Ayers, who is Vice President Pence's chief of staff, was a top choice for the position. Ayers removed himself from the running and announced he plans to leave the White House at the end of the year. KABC SoCal weather, mostly cloudy tonight with lows in the lower to mid-50s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy in the morning, then partly cloudy by afternoon with highs in the mid-60s to around 70. More news coming up in 30 minutes, continuing coverage at KABC.com. I'm Steve Cumming, Talk Radio 790, KABC News.
Hey, Ben Shapiro here. In today's world, violent crime can victimize anyone at any time. When it's your time, will you be able to protect yourself and your loved ones? You need to be trained, and through KABC's personal relationship with Dr. Ignatius Piazza of Front Sight Firearm Training Institute, we've arranged for you and your family to train there too, free of charge while training slots last. Go to frontsight.com/Ben to secure a $2,000 4-day defensive handgun course, absolutely free of charge with no hidden surprises or catches. Enter frontsight.com/Ben. That's frontsight.com/Ben.
Are you looking for an alternative to drug and alcohol rehabilitation that allows you to recover in the privacy of your own home with an individualized program? The Key Light Company's Concierge Detox LA can be that alternative. Headed by Dr. Damon Raskin, addiction specialist, and clinical psychologist Dr. Howard Gless, Concierge Detox LA can meet your recovery needs. For more information, contact Concierge Detox LA at 323-935-9712. That's 323-935-9712.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard, aired by the California Broadcasters Association and this station.
Would you like to retire soon and have questions you'd like answered by someone who specializes in retirement planning? At Money Matters, we specialize in working with clients who are nearing and in retirement. What's the best way to plan for retirement income? When is the best time to take Social Security? And many others. If you're over 50 and have more than $100,000 in investable assets, please go to moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net, or call us today at 800-994-0302. 800-994-0302.
To overturn your wrongful deeds, so once again, you've been charged.
Talk Radio 790 KBC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. Well, the LA Car Show might have ended today, but not the sale at Canoga Park Dodge. Canoga Park Dodge, where you can get deals on all new Dodge Challenger models on the last day of Hanukkah Christmas Jingle Sale. The 1970 Dodge Challenger RT, powered by a 444 barrel and a 833 4-speed pistol grip transmission, on sale now in white. It will make your wallet vanish at $500,000. This pony has horses, completely new, from the wide stance up and the scoop drops to hint. Things get a mild stormier with the optional 440 Magnum V8 available in orange for $449,999. The 1970 Dodge Challenger. Kinda cute till you let the horses out. Dodge Scat Pack. The cars with the bumblebee stripes. All 1970 Dodge models found inside a tomb during the excavation for NoHo West on Laurel Canyon. Limited supply for a limited time only. Before we broke, we had a professional imposter. I don't know what he's going to tell us. Hey, Mr. Imposter, tell us about your most exciting imposter job. I don't know what else to ask you.
One that I'm sure your listeners will relate to. They probably do it all the time. I imposter straight men.
You aren't a straight man? Actually, I don't really care.
I am a straight male. The point is, a lot of men need me for their marriages.
I always suspect that there was an underground black market in the day, but now I think a lot of gay men, they don't feel the pressure to marry a woman and pretend to perform in bed.
One of my most famous cases involved radio. You probably heard of the ad about probiotic ostrich soy chum. Men can take it if they are too embarrassed to go to the doctor to get a prescription.
I hate those commercials. They play nonstop on the competitor station. They also claim the product is gluten-free.
The quack food scientist who came up with that formula and incidentally was fired from organic ostrich has his own show.
I heard him listing off the ingredients for an entire hour. I'd never heard of most of the stuff he claimed was in that performance product. The bad thing was all these guys who sounded like 15 to 25 years older than me, they were calling him and thanking him for his pills.
Testimonials. Those are called testimonials.
And if they want a spokesperson for a product like that, why don't they just get Rhemus Helms?
Rhemus Helms doesn't need none of that junk.
Well, who's that guy again with the probiotic vitamin F minus, like ostrich soy chum pill?
Dr. Zhivago.
Oh, yeah, that's him.
Since I imposted him, I know all his secrets.
Is he really even a doctor?
He flunked out of the Doctor of Divinity program over at LAVC.
LAVC? Los Angeles Valley College?
Yeah, LAVC in Van Nuys. I'm now impostering itself as Valley Glen.
LAVC is a 2-year college. They don't offer a Doctor of Divinity.
Sure they do. That's where all the imposters go.
Is Dr. Zhivago an imposter?
Of course he is. There's a whole movie not about him.
How does this work with LAVC? Imposters go there for like a semester or two and they get just enough information about a profession in order to imposter a member of the profession?
Enough information for an entire career. All in a few classes. That's where Picasso went.
Picasso predates LAVC. He's not even from Van Nuys, now officially called Valley Glen in the vicinity of Los Angeles Valley College.
Did you ever hear the hit song, Valley College Hero, GPA of 0?
My friend wrote that ditty when I was sitting there waiting for the action in Polyester Iguana.
You toured with a polyester iguana?
Nah, I was just there for that one session in Moonshine's room. Back then, LAVC was in Van Nuys, the same place it's in now.
What about Lake Balboa?
Well, that's another former province of Van Nuys.
An imposter! Lake Balboa, Valley Glen, they are imposters of cities, Van Nuys, Valley Village, but an imposter of North Hollywood.
Yeah, I understand that concept. I rather agree.
Fake news, fake cities, professional imposters, this radio show. What has this world come to?
Transitory images.
Oh, how an imposter loves transitory images. But unfortunately, one's image can become quite prominent on the internet.
Let's talk about the reasons why an employer would use an imposter.
My most famous case involved trucking, as I mentioned earlier.
Could you tell us more about how that went down?
Sure. I picked up a load in Denver late on Friday night. The bartender who sold me the pills over at the company that set me up with the shipment agreed to pay my expenses if I made it to San Francisco for a Comdeck show by 3 p.m. Saturday.
Well, this sounds vaguely familiar.
At first, I wasn't privy to the identifies of the cargo.
How did you impostor the trucker?
I popped lots of benzendrine pills.
I can't condone that sort of thing.
They set me up in a Dodge L100 tilt cab. They added an extra 440 full-barrel and an A833 4-speed pistol grip transmission.
Did that addition help pull whatever you were pulling?
I was pulling the big boy.
53 feet, I presume.
No, literally. The big boy.
I'm not going to go for that.
Okay. I had a 53-foot pull-along container.
Something isn't quite right here.
I'm an imposter, damn it.
What happened on your presumably speed-filled journey to San Francisco?
Okay. I'm booking 90 in the desert, and this biker pulls up alongside my cab. He asks if I am getting union wages.
Of course.
I tell him not just yet. I see him a couple of pills later, and he asks me again if I'm getting union wages. By that time, I called the Teamster and found out the right rates. I told the company who hired me I needed to be paid union wages. Nothing was set in stone at that point, but I was pretty sure this was going down for the union wages.
What about the biker? I thought he appeared a second time alongside your cab.
That's what I'm telling you. I told him to tell the union I'd drive faster if they paid my union wages. Of course, the union communicated with the company who hired me, and from that point onward, I was paid union wages. The biker made it happen.
Slow down, man. Were you even a union member?
No, an imposter.
Were the union dues higher than what you originally agreed to be paid?
Yeah. But they took union dues and money for a vacation fund, which was stupid, because I was only going to be driving another 8 hours. But I didn't know that at the time.
Well, if you weren't a union member, why were union dues and vacation fund contributions deducted?
Man, I was all caught up in an imposter's union.
Shucks. Did you ever make it to San Francisco?
All sorts of strange stuff happened in the desert. Some crazy cult figure said they weren't into snakes anymore, so he was going to trade snakes for my coffee.
I feel like this is plagiarism.
It is. But there's modifications going on. I mean, besides, I am an imposter.
Well, did your truck have a name? Did you shoot an iguana in the desert?
No, man, wrong stories.
Yeah, I'm not feeling this imposter story is very interesting.
Okay, man, I vanished. I totally vanished before I got to Frisco. So everybody has their point of no return. And when I figured out what I was hauling, I didn't need to imposter Truck Turner anymore.
Truck Turner was a black bail bondsman?
Maybe in a movie. Not back on the ranch.
Ranch?
Man, don't you know anything? Truck Turner is Rhemus Helms' driver of 18-wheelers.
Did this really happen? The whole trucking incident where you pledged to get from Denver to San Francisco by 3 p.m. on Sunday and you vanished?
Hell yeah. And when the goons opened the back of my container in the Cali desert and I saw all those things, I ran away. I vanished.
Were these certain things property of the Rhemus Helms Corporation?
That would be affirmative.
You were hired to heist 30,000 pounds of the product that got infringed?
Hey, man, I didn't want to touch none of those things, but I am pretty sure they were made of rubber or some plastic, silicone. Yeah, I've touched silicone before. I think they were silicone.
I only see the relevance in your previous touch of silicone if you touched those things in the truck, which you said you didn't.
Are we going to fight over what the crap's made out of?
Oh, maybe silicone? We could call Rhemus Helms and ask.
Please don't tell him about this.
The man listens to every episode and he sponsors his show.
Oops.
As a concrete man, I calculate a lot of volumes. I do believe a 50-foot trailer can hold 3,800 cubic feet of volume. But in the case of the Rhemus Helms things being 14 inches long and fairly wide, a width I'd rather not know. Surely there could be 120,000 of them in there. Probably had a street value of $2.4 million.
The goons said they were special editions. The container had a wholesale value of $5 million.
Why are they being brought to Condex? That's a computer convention.
That's easy. This was during the tech boom. See, they figured the techies would buy them at inflated prices and try to sell them on eBay a couple of years later.
Unfortunately, I'm privy to a lot of Rhemus Helms information with him sponsoring the show and all. I understand those 1999 end of the century limited editions fetch the upwards of $500 per unit these days on the collector's market.
Mr. Gerber, this is an unseemly question. I don't even know if I should ask it. But is a used model worth more than one in a box?
How in the world would I know? Why would I want to know?
I'm just thinking, if I diverted the load to my uncle's warehouse, I could be sitting on $60 million by now.
You know, that's the thought I don't even want to think about. I can't believe these guests that I get. It's just ridiculous. All of these shows end up this way. I think I'm getting some guy to explain some bad consumer product that's a ever-growing Berber rug on floors and on people's heads. And I'm wondering, if you put the Berber, thing on the head, do you need like the what's underneath the carpet? They call it the padding. Do the guys put padding on top of the Berber, or is the Berber stapled to their head? The product is so ridiculous. I wanted Myron Alfombra, pronounced matting, I guess, to tell us about this, but we got an imposter, and we're hearing about some ridiculous story about trucking and Rhemus Helms things, and it sounds like the Vanishing Point, and I don't know, man. This is just far out. I just want to get calls about like real employment cases at 877-525-0700. I want to talk to people that have real labor problems, not this nonsense. 877-525-0700 for a real workplace lawyer. 877-525-0700. When we come back, we're going to learn more about this new class of employees called imposters. I didn't even know there was a profession like that. I've represented 1,800 different separate cases in California and probably another 5,000 in other states. I've never heard of an employee being an imposter. Are they independent contractors? I don't know. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC, and when we come back, I want answers to these questions.
Imposter, I know, I'm an imposter. I know, I'm an imposter. I know, when I'm laughing, but I really.
The Employment Lawyers Group is a results-driven law firm whose goal is to get the right result for the client. They have represented employees with a high rate of success since 1993 throughout the state of California. They're only paid and if they are able to collect money from the employer, so there's not any upfront fees or costs in order to hire them. They have represented thousands of employees who've been terminated from their jobs, sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or are owed wages in an individualized or group basis such as a class action. Call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have operators standing by. They can also be reached at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Hire them and make your workplace problem theirs to solve.
Happy holidays!
Hey, what's this?
It's a gift from One Hope Wine for you. Pop it open.
This bubbly is delicious.
Yes, and check out the bottle. It literally shimmers like they painted it with gold.
That's so cool.
Best of all, every shimmer bottle of One Hope Sparkling Brut helps fund meals for children fighting hunger.
Wow, so it's twice as nice.
I like to think of it as bubbles with benefits.
Oh, bubbles with benefits. I like that.
And for a limited time, save 25% on the One Hope Wine Shimmer Bottle at onehopewine.com/radio.
Sorry, I was drinking this delicious bubbly. What's that website again?
onehopewine.com/radio. Order now to save 25% on One Hope's Sparkling Brut in the gorgeous gold shimmer.
I used to have more hair. I used to have more color. And I used to have cancer. I beat it. I did. Not alone. I used to have no idea what the American Cancer Society did. Research, yeah. But also, Free rides to chemo and free lodging near hospitals. I used to maybe give a little, then I got so much back. I used to have cancer.
Please give at cancer.org.
When I have a cold sore, I want something that works.
Purpose L penetrates deep to treat your cold sore, and it's enriched with lysine, vitamins, and lemon balm for soothing relief.
But even when I don't have a cold sore, I still want something that protects against a flare-up.
Purpose L protects against certain triggers caused by the sun and cold, including flare-ups from sun damage with its added SPF 30 protection. So it treats and protects.
Works for me.
And me too.
Purpose L works when you have a cold sore, works when you don't. Use as directed.
Wrongful deed, so once again, you've been charged. My lawyer filed a
Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber, and I guess I should tell you that this segment is sponsored by a generous donation by the Helms Foundation, 14 inches of endowment and $5 billion in funding. Yes, we now have Rhemus Helms sponsoring this show, if you can believe that. Before we broke, we've been talking to someone who claims he's a professional imposter. He's told us some strange things. We heard about union scales. I don't know where that was going. We also heard about how he was driving a truck and it had those Rhemus Helms things in it. And now the street value of those might be $60 million on like eBay. And so I'm wondering, this is like the $60 million you could be sitting on now if you stole the load. I guess that's sort of like, I got to put some relevance in here. An employee stock option, I guess?
Nah, that crap is always like they award you a bunch of worthless shares. Or even worse, you have to buy a bunch of shares that are never sold on the open market.
Well, that is often true. The other issue is employees never exercise their options to purchase, and then they want to sue for the stock options when they never bought the stock in the first place. I get a lot of those calls.
I bet that's annoying.
Well, the other issue is what the value of the stock is that was never awarded. Like, it's supposed to be, who's to say the employee would have, held on to it until when they sue. If they sold it earlier, it would have been maybe a different value. It's all very hypothetical.
Imagine all those people, though, who got offered options in that sanitary napkin database company Chapstick works at.
Well, I have heard their stock is trading somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000 a share.
I was dating a chick who got offered options at $14 a share. She didn't have the cash to buy her 500 shares. I just done a job. A whole week of SAG wages. I had some spare cash, so loaned it to her, and, once she became a millionaire, she dumped me. Bought a Tesla and the Rhemus Helms doll. You go figure.
That kind of makes sense. You're an imposter, but on a more legal issue, did you ever get your money back?
She sent me a bunch of coupons to some store that was already in bankruptcy. How's that for a dear imposter letter?
Kind of serves you right. I've also received a lot of claims that there are employees who are fired right before the stock options are about to vest.
Rotten. Just rotten.
Yeah, terminating an employee in order to avoid paying them, a wage, that's wrongful termination.
Can you get them their stock options after they're fired?
Well, almost all settlements are cash settlements, so the value of the stock might get factored into the settlement.
Me being an imposter and all, I was wondering if the stock options have to be in writing. Yeah, it would be very easy for me to claim I had stock options.
Hopefully not in this show. The harder thing is to prove something, the less likely I'll take a case if it's really kind of hard to prove. Besides, it's being questionable what the agreement is supposed to be if it's not in writing. Employees usually, they sign at-will language, and if they sign at-will language, that negates the fact that there's supposed to be some other arrangement on the side that can be enforced for stock options or anything else.
Being an employee without an employee lawyer is a dog-eat-dog world.
Yeah, but employee lawyers, we only get involved if there's a job termination or a large amount of pay is due. Employee lawyers aren't just there for general advice and letter writing.
I'm thinking, if I imposter an employee lawyer, I am not saying I'd imposter, you. How much would it cost for an employee lawyer to write letters or give advice?
Yeah, I don't really think you should be impostering a lawyer, but I will say that many young lawyers these days, they want $450 to $550 an hour, and experienced lawyers might want $750 to $1,000 an hour. No employee is going to pay those hourly rates. We all know that. Besides, I don't think employee lawyers are really interested in providing, legal advice just for the sake of providing legal advice. We're generally trial lawyers. We file lawsuits in court or arbitration, and we start proving them up through testimony, documents. We oppose legal briefs, and we write legal briefs. We like to present the case at mediation, arbitration, or trial. Presenting a case is actually sort of like setting up a radio show, writing the script. Yeah, that's like writing the opening statement and the questions you're going to ask your witnesses. And you get the actors, and those are your witnesses. You practice with the actors the same like you might do on a radio show. And then your witnesses and you start coming up with those logical arguments and witty sayings just like we do here.
Oh, you're the best imposter out there. We're actually in a trial right now, and I'm your witness. Damn, you fooled me.
This is Talk Radio 790 KABC, the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. This is not a trial at all, and I'm not an imposter. A lot of people might think I'm not even a real lawyer, but I am a real licensed California lawyer that represents employees, and I have been doing it for 25 years. This imposter guy that came on here and just started saying he was me, well, he was pretending he was me.
I'm not falling for that routine.
What are the chances that you can get Myron Alfombra, pronounced Matting, to appear here for inquiry on the aforementioned issues I have in Ray Queen's carpet?
To tell you the truth, I am sort of hoping he pays me. After he lost his shirt and all, I don't know if he's good for my SAG day rate.
Yeah, he might be in Queens. I don't know. It could be a hassle to go after him for wages, being that he's presumably in Queens. But since he's got operations in Los Angeles, we know that because we heard Angie come on the show a couple episodes back, the angry woman. There must be a bank account here, too.
He might be in Queens. He just as well might be in Canoga Park or Brentwood.
Well, with a man who changes his cell phone number every hour, good luck on the collection process for your wages.
Maybe if you cut him a commercial spot. Yeah, maybe if you cut him a commercial spot here, he can make a few sales and pay me.
We've been talking about his rancid business most of the show and a few episodes back. I'll be lucky if he doesn't illegitimately sue me for my news coverage on the unusual products he sells. After all, part of the station's broadcast license here assumes that they're going to be covering important matters of consumer safety. I personally believe that ever-growing berber toupee, that might be a matter of consumer safety.
I know you don't want to get into it much because it's so abominable, but the concept of the, temping doing that thing to fetuses, well, raises questions about medical stuff that's sort of, licensing too, right?
Yeah, I don't want to make the listeners think we're just making a bunch of jokes here. Besides the real content here, the legal stuff, the legal content here is real. It's the real law, by the way. We've got to ask some legitimate questions about a peculiar product that might not be safe, like the tampon.
Listen, Mr. Gerber, if you ever need an imposter, can you keep me in mind?
I can't be defrauding anyone, being that I'm a lawyer, and I can't be passing out. No, I can't be passing out your business card. Please don't give that to me. But if you come in contact with some other character associated with the show, you might just be back here for one reason or another. Like I suggest to all the immoral guests, I need to go to fictional character reform school, report back here with a good bill of health, and we can talk. And if you can get Myron, whose attention, tell him he's ordered down at this station from 7 to 8 on Sunday. What you learned is obvious on this show tonight, of course, and I guess it's obvious that you've learned that eating organic produce from a supermarket owned by Amazon, it's only pseudo-hip, but buying overpriced organic produce from the local farmer's market, which just might give you a day-long stomach disorder. That's it, man. Folks and people from the Pokey, I've got to jump into my Dodge Challenger and dodge all those Sunset people down at the Whiskey on the Sunset Strip, where there's a new band, the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo, opening for the Sparks. So I got to get out of here in a couple seconds. But, we're going to be here same time, same place next week from 7 to 8. I hope you listen because it's funny and you're going to learn a little bit about the law too, or you can call me off air about a real employment matter at 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700 for a real employment lawyer. 877-525-0700 if you have a case of sexual harassment, you were defrauded out of stock options, you were fired from your job, illegally terminated. The whole stock option thing comes up because a lot of people think that they want their stock options and they get fired. It happens around this time of the year. So does this thing with the settlements where the employer has a mad rush to pay the money, but the employee doesn't get it in this tax year, and they are being 1099'd or W-2'd as if they got it this tax year. So these are all issues around this time of the year that we're talking about here. So I want you to have a merry, jolly Christmas, and don't try to buy one of those Dodge Challengers at Canoga Park Dodge. That's just a joke. Thanks for listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We'll be back next week.
This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.